Welcome to DestinationDionna. I'm Deanna, love guide to all and kept wife strategist to the women I'm called to serve. Please consider my channel your self-help learning library for love. Join me every Monday at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time for our weekly coaching gem, where I give guidance to elevate your love experience. And on Wednesdays at 1 p.m., tune in for Sounds About Wife, where I give my unique wife perspective and prepare professional women like you to become kept wives. So hit that subscribe button and let's start this love journey together. See you soon, my loves. Y'all, why was my mic muted? Oh, that's only because the lesson today is one that's needed. It's going to free people. Let's get right into it. Most consequences in love don't show up immediately. They show up quietly, months later, sometimes even years later, after you've already invested your time, your body, your resources, your hope, and your belief that this time would be different. Well, by the end of this episode, you'll understand the long-term consequences of choosing desire over discernment, why the cost is almost never paid up front, and how women end up repeating the same relationship story with different characters. If you are new here, welcome to Sounds About Wife. This is season 3, episode 3. What happens when you choose desire over discernment? Here on Sounds About Wife, we talk about the mindset, identity, and relational wealth required to experience love that actually sustains you. I'm Deanna Washington, known as the Kept Wife Strategist, but I am your relational wealth advocate. I prepare women to recognize quality men, receive love without old patterns, running the relationship or marriage, and reciprocate with feminine contribution instead of masculine efforting. Come on, who wouldn't want that, right? But today we are talking about consequences. But I want to be clear, this is not about punishment. It's just us talking about the outcomes. Okay? So first, let's start with when desire leads. Okay, desire is powerful. It's emotional. It's intoxicating, right? And when desire leads, it often feels like certainty, even when it isn't. Now, when desire leads and discernment kind of follows after, women commonly experience these things. So here's where you pay attention and see if this checks out for you. Emotional instability, but it feels like chemistry. Inconsistent communication, that feels like mystery. Anxiety, that gets mislabeled as passion. And repeated disappointment, that gets excused as wrong timing. And here's the part that I've noticed most women miss. This doesn't happen because they choose badly once. It happens because they never change how they choose. Okay, they will change the man, they'll change the environment, they'll change the season, but the one thing they won't change is the lens in which they are seeing through. And this is why the pattern repeats. Okay, it'll be a different phase, but it'll be the same emotional experience. At first, desire feels exciting, right? But then it starts to feel confusing, and eventually it starts feeling heavy. That's the cycle, right? And after it starts feeling heavy, then you get into when it feels familiar, but familiar in the most draining way. So let's talk about what the real cost is. So from a relational wealth perspective, which is the one we want to have, right? Misaligned relationships are very expensive, and not just emotionally, right? They cost you a few things. If you're taking notes, here is where you want to take notes so you can see how this checks out for you. They cost you in time that you can never get back. They cost you in energy that could have gone toward your expansion, your leveling up. They cost you in confidence in your own judgment, right? Whenever you choose wrong or experience things that you don't want to, it also impacts your confidence, right? You don't believe in your ability to choose, which only causes you to keep choosing from the same lens, keep choosing wrong. It also costs you momentum in other areas of your life. Being in the wrong relationship, it will derail your progress in other areas. If you don't have the right partner, you're probably not working out. If you don't have the right partner, you don't have good money habits, money mindset, right? If you're not thinking about growth, you're not thinking about expansion. Every misaligned relationship, hold on. Every misaligned relationship actually delays something, right? A few things that it delays is clarity. When you're in a misaligned relationship, you're confused. You don't know where things are going. You don't know what to expect. You can't relax. So it delays your clarity. It delays your peace, right? In order to have peace, you got to have stability. You got to be sure, right? You got to have assurances. And it delays the version of you who trusts yourself again. When you're in a relationship that's not fulfilling, you're not growing, things aren't happening for you, you lose faith in yourself, your ability to choose, your ability to trust. And here's an uncomfortable truth, right? But I'm going to say it with care, okay? Many women are not unlucky in love. I know that's how we like to blanket it. Oh, she's just unlucky. No, you're not unlucky in love. You are just underprepared in discernment. So stop telling that lie to yourself. It's not about luck. You are underprepared in discernment, right? I'm not shaming you, right? It's not shame and it's not a character flaw. This is solvable because luck has nothing to do with patterns, okay? Patterns come from unexamined beliefs, unhealed conditioning, and decisions made from desire instead of discernment. Okay, so we know the cost. Let's talk about the deepest consequence. I know that right off the bat, most people will think, well, the deepest consequence is heartbreak, but it's not. It's actually what happens after the heartbreak. It's the erosion of self-trust. You start questioning yourself. Your intuition feels unreliable. You replay decisions asking, how did I miss that? Why did I do that? Why didn't I see it sooner? And once self-trust is damaged, Decisions take longer to make. Your confidence feels fragile. Your standards feel harder to enforce. And love starts to feel risky instead of how it should feel: expansive, beautiful, desirable. So what happens? Well, women either become hyper guarded, right? I'm not going through that again. I'm not opening up again. I'm not doing this relationship thing. I don't even know if I want marriage, right? Or they start over analyzing everything. Well, when he does this, it must mean this. When this happens like this, it must mean this. They start over analyzing everything. Or they swing back into desire, hoping this time will be different. Notice how none of those solve it. None of those equal growth, but they all lead to exhaustion. So here's where I like to invite you to kind of do a readiness check, right? And I like to say that this is the portion where we can have some accountability without shame or guilt, okay? If this episode feels sobering, good. If you related to some of the things I was saying, good. Because sobriety precedes clarity. All right, you're waking up to clarity. If this episode feels familiar, it does not mean that you're behind. It just means you're waking up. And awareness is not punishment. I know it can feel like that. It can feel like when you get this new information, when you get new motivation or inspiration, it can jolt you in a way where you can very easily go to shame or guilt or blame, but that isn't why we're doing it, right? Awareness is power, because you can't change what you don't acknowledge. And before you can acknowledge something, you have to have an awakening, an awareness to it. Now, accountability does not mean blaming yourself. You made the decisions, you did what you were going to do. Okay. That's what served you at that time in that moment. But it does mean now that you get to decide. You get to decide. The past doesn't get to keep repeating. You can decide to stop it. So, what's going to change when you start to develop your discernment? Well, here's the pleasure that most women don't even realize is available to them. When you develop your discernment and allow that to lead you, especially in love, let me tell you what's going to happen. Love is going to feel calmer. Decisions feel clearer. Communication feels steadier. And attraction feels safe instead of all consuming. Okay? You stop romanticizing confusion. You stop negotiating red flags and calling them light pink. Okay? You stop needing intensity to feel like you're being chosen. You actually start trusting yourself again. And when your self-trust is restored, that peace that we talked about, it starts to feel familiar. The standards that you have that you're being told are too high, they start to feel natural. And love begins to add to your life instead of interrupting it. And that's relational wealth. Okay? And this is exactly why my Kepti Academy exists, right? Not to help women, want to love harder. No, but it's there to help them repair their discernment. Okay. Inside the academy, women learn how to recognize aligned partners more clearly, right? They learn how to receive love without the old patterns, hijacking connection. Okay. And they learn how to reciprocate from feminine contribution instead of over efforting, which is very masculine. Okay. Women don't come to me already clear. They come already smart. They come already accomplished. They come already paid, all those things. But they come because they're ready to become more clear about love, clear about how to choose. So if today's episode resonated with you, it's not a coincidence, okay? That's readiness tapping you, okay, on the shoulder, telling you, come on, it's time to do something different, okay? And the academy is where this preparation begins, quietly, intentionally, and at your pace, okay? So choosing desire over discernment always has a cost, but choosing discernment restores something priceless: you. I will see you in the next episode of Sounds About Wife, every Wednesday, 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, live right here. See you next week.